It's your boy Sid, and welcome to Speak Your Mind all the time. Guys, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Please don't forget to click that subscribe button below. I want to wish everyone on this special day a happy Valentine's. Now, I know a lot of you guys realize I haven't been here in a minute, um, going through some personal stuff, and I just want to send a message to everyone out there. Um, Guys, cherish what you have, especially on a day like today, because if you don't, that person could be gone just like that. So, um, listen, things happen. God is has plans for me, and I hope that at some point He will bring, um, a cherished one back to me. So, with that being said, please keep your prayers with me. So, guys, let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys. Now, guys, I have to say it. It's rumor mill out there. Rumor mill. It's going crazy how many rumors are out there right now with the Dallas Cowboys. Um, the Dak Prescott situation um, that's out there, the contract and everything like that. We got, JJ Watt being released. Is he coming to the Dallas Cowboys? Just so many rumors out there going on. It's insane. I want you guys to let me know what you guys think. Do you think all these rumors are warranted? Um, I don't think so. I think rumors are just out of mind, out of sight. Um, the Dallas Cowboys organization right now, head office, making some huge mistakes with Dak's contract. What do you guys think? I mean, rumor, and we're talking about rumors out there right now, is that Dak is asking for 40 mil a year. 40 mil for 4 years. How much of that is guaranteed? We don't know. But we'll find out, I guess, when the time is right. There's still time to get the contract done. I don't want a franchise tag. I know a lot of people out there are saying that Dak's going to get franchise tagged. Um, if Dak gets franchise tagged, that's at a 37.5 mil. He's asking for 40 mil. I don't understand what the dilemma is. Is it the guarantee that's the dilemma? There's certain things out there that I just don't understand right now. Guys, tune in. Let me know your opinion on this situation because to me, it just does not make sense about what's going on out there right now with the whole Dak situation and the contract. Um, I hope we get it done. I don't. You know what? We're gonna get into that a little deeper into the show, but for now, there's just so much going on out there in the NFL with the Dallas Cowboys, with the draft coming up, with the free agency. I mean, it's just all over the place, and it's not just the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, I'm noticing and I'm gonna mention them. The She-Goals are having issues as well. It's uh it's just crazy what's going on. Um, I just want to send a few shout outs to a few people on here. Cowboys X Factor, what's up? Thanks for tuning in. Like always, moving the chains, and with moving the chains, she's already here in here. So let's just get her to the stream as we speak.
Hey,
Moving the chains.
how you been, man?
Listen, I'm getting there. The heart is healing within time, but we'll definitely um, get through this. God has plans, and with everybody's prayers out there, I'll get through this. Danny, I don't know how to say your Mahodas. Shout out to me, cuz. What's up, man? Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you being here. So now that I have you on moving the chains, let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys right now. It's rumor mill. Like there's so many rumors out there. What do you think is going on? What do you think is going on with Dak's contract? Do you think that Deshawn Watson is something that could actually happen, or Russell Wilson? Those to me, those three names mean a lot. You
They,
know how
they do. I honestly think if it's not Dak, it's going to be Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson. I don't think it's going to be through the draft. I don't think they're going to start all over again with something unproven. You draft a quarterback and it's unproven. You have to look at the Cleveland Browns. They went almost 2 decades every season with a first round draft pick quarterback, and they just now had a season over 500.
Yep.
They're a first round draft pick doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't. It doesn't. So
I believe here's how
the NFL is different than college football. It's just
yeah.
different. Football.
I don't watch college football, and I think that's something I'm going to start doing later this year. I think because I need to see what's going on with QBs and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I said it. I was speaking to our man Philly Notion just earlier on the phone. You know,
Lord.
you gotta love Philly, man. You gotta love Philly.
So
So Philly Notion. I said to Philly, I said, if we franchise tag Dak, let's just say we franchise him at 37.5, we lose Dak next year.
oh yeah.
We lose. There's no way he's gone. So I said, what's our next option? The draft? I don't want to go after a QB in the draft. And if we keep Dak and we franchise tag him, we're going to do well this year. So we're not going to have a high draft pick. So
Right.
we're gonna drop in the draft, right? So then what are we going to hope for? A free agency QB and hope that somebody falls on our lap? That's not the way of going. That's not the way I think the Dallas Cowboys need to go this season. We need to do the right thing. We either need to sign Dak or trade up for. I rather Watson over Wilson. That's me.
Yeah. I think I'm pretty equal with the two of them. I'm honestly, I want Dak. I want my quarterback. I wrote that blog last week demonstrating that sometimes when it's falling apart, it's not necessarily about the money, and it's not necessarily about because they don't want Dak to be a Dallas Cowboy. It's about ego. And in Stephen Jones, Jerry Jones, and Todd France, you have 3 very large egos that are all competing, and it's causing a big problem.
Huge.
Ultimately, I want to sign Dak. That's the quarterback that I want. That's our guy. I think he's been our guy for the last 5 years. I think he could be our guy for the next 15 years if we play our cards right and stop acting stupid. But we are, as an organization, exceedingly stupid and driven by ego. And
I just want to comment on Cowboys out there. It said, keep in mind, in order to franchise tag Dak, Dallas Cowboys have to create cap space for that, which is true.
yeah.
I mean, Jerry Jones is good with numbers.
Restructure D-Law. You know what? We restructured D-Law last season. We can only restructure so much before we're, $500 a week.
Yeah.
And I don't think that franchise tag is a good idea. They're going to have to pay him. They're going to have to pay him, and they're going to have to backload that contract because our list of needs is too great right now to be messing around with a quarterback. And I see this team coming together. It's kind of like a puzzle. And when you include Dak and the receiving core and the defensive ends that we have, it's like you've built the frame and you got the tree on the left side and the barn over there on the right. But you've still got to fill in, the sky and the hayfield and the wagon, so tearing up the barn, that's not going to help you. You've got to build the rest of this puzzle. We need a backfield. We need linebackers. We need defensive tackles.
Everything. Like the draft.
We've got a lot of work to do. So moving backwards on a quarterback is stupid. We need to backload the contract, create as much cap space as we can, and start building this team.
I have a question for you, and I brought this up. I wanted to bring this up on Start Game podcast the other day, but I just want to make something clear before I even jump into this topic. Guys, my dad is from Barbados. My dad is black. My mom's Quebecois, so I'm not racist at all. But I just want to put it out there because it's something that's been going on in my mind. Do you think that Jerry Jones has an issue with a black QB becoming the franchise of the Dallas Cowboys because he paid Romo, he gave Troy Aikman. I think Jerry Jones is threatened by the fact that, listen, do you know how much Dak has the team behind him? He has the fans behind him. He has the social media behind him. Do you think that Jerry is saying, oh my God, I'm about to lose control?
Mm.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
I never thought of it from a racial standpoint, but it's entirely possible. It's entirely possible. Hold on, though. Ask yourself.
Jerry Jones likes the flowing blonde hair, and he's.
Is Jerry only half threatened because Dak is half white? So
that's definitely for sure. Big shout out to Cowboys Mosh tuning in. I appreciate you tuning in. But guys, I'm just trying to see it from all angles, right? I'm trying to see.
He never have. I know he had a really close relationship with Des Bryant, and
well, yes and no, because look how he did him in the end, right?
Right. But even after the end, though, we saw him at a concert at AT&T Stadium sitting with Dez. We brought Dez into the box, and there they were hanging out. So I don't think that Jerry has a race problem. I think that if Jerry had a race problem, he got into the wrong sport when he bought this team.
I don't think he has a full race problem. I think he has.
Yeah, buy yourself a PG golf course or something. You don't.
That position. Do you understand what I'm saying? That
specific position of leader of the franchise.
A QB. Listen, a QB. We all know a QB becomes a leader of your team. He's he's your driving force. He's your your spokesperson. He's all spotlight goes on him, right? Jerry Jones likes to be the center of spotlight. So here's somebody. Look when he got injured, how much support he had going into.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Like even after the fact, like just even the Super Bowl. I don't know if the Super Bowl was on and they were talking about Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
Like I was just like, there's no way of leaning away from this situation. Philly Notion, thank you for tuning in, my guy. Sid Morning, moving and saying big salute. But y'all need to let Dak hope go. Jerry's about to hurt y'all feelings because he's a smart businessman. Philly, we all believe. Listen, I think Cowboy Nation is going to go ballistic if Jerry doesn't sign Dak.
Yeah, I said it the other day, and I was listening to Jay Tuck and BJ Nix talk about it, and they're 100% right. When Jerry fired Tom Landry, I mean, a lot of Saints fans were made that day, and they're right. They were. And this is going to be one of those things that's a line in the sand. I mean, Cowboys love their players. We love Des Bryant. A lot of people rocked that 88 jersey even after he left. But ultimately, they stayed Cowboys fans. But Dak, that's a different animal altogether. That's different. And a lot of people will make
that move.
Will make an exodus from this team. I'm not going to be one of them. I'm always going to be a Cowboys fan, but I'm still going to be a Dak fan. And even if he's not with us, and I'm going to root for him when he's not playing against us, still going to follow his career.
I think a lot of Cowboy fans will follow Dak.
Tremendous love for this kid. And like I told Philly Notion the other day, I don't have kids, but if I had a son, I would want my son to be like Dak Prescott. I just have that much respect and affection for him. So, yeah, they need to sign my guy.
They need, what? Everybody's saying it. And you know what? I hate Twitter. I hate Facebook because every 2 seconds there's something about Dak's contract and Dak's going here, and it's just so annoying.
Dak's never gonna walk again. That was the new one from the other day. So ridiculous.
So let me ask you that, and you know what? And I want people in the chat to tune in. Do you think Dak is coming back 100%? Because that's one of the biggest topics that's coming up now. Is Dak 100%? Is his leg good to go? And is that why Jerry Jones and the Cowboys organization is skeptical on signing him, not knowing exactly where his ankle's at?
I don't think it has anything to do with it. I think when you talk about repetitive injuries, you're talking about muscles and tendons, maybe sometimes bone, but it's going to be a bone that you can't set and heal, like a tailbone or a rib or a clavicle. But when you're talking your ankle, you can rebuild that ankle. They can put in pins, they can put in screws, they put it in a cast, they keep it stable, the bone regrows back together, they take out the pins and the screws, everything's good. They went in and did that second surgery. That second surgery, it's number one, it's not uncommon. And they probably had some pins and screws to take out from the first surgery, where they've kind of held things together on the temporary, let the bone grow back, and then they remove it. Also, they said they did some cleanup work with the tendons and the muscles. It's called an arthroscopic surgery. A lot of
Yeah,
people done on their knee in lieu of a replacement. It makes it better. It makes it healthier and stronger. It's not a down. I think he's going to be just as good as he was before, if not better.
I believe so too, because Dak is a fighter. He's always been a fighter. He's
Absolutely.
always been a guy that, you know what,
Yeah.
when he's down, he figures out a way to come up on top.
So he's got access to the best doctors, the best physical therapists.
Yeah.
Nothing out of reach for him in the surgery and in the recovery. So I don't see it.
No.
being. Look at what Alex Smith came back from. And that was way worse than what Dak did. I think he's
Yeah, exactly. If Alex Smith can do it, so can Dak. I just want to send a shout out to Georgia Grimes. She said, "Yes, I believe that Jerry Jones has a race issue with the QB position, as many fans who have also had a race issue with Dak being the face of this franchise long term."
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not the only one who feels that that's an issue.
That it may be an issue. If it is an issue, I certainly hope that it becomes known as a fact that it's an issue so that I can switch teams.
Yeah, 100%. So Philly Notion says, so if Dak is playing against Dallas on a different jersey,
right?
Who you rooting for? You know what? You know what? Philly, I'm gonna chime in on that. I want the best for Dak because I've gained much respect for him as an athlete, as much as I have as a Dallas Cowboy. So as an athlete and for what he stands for in the NFL, I would go root for him on another team 100%. I would probably buy the jersey of whatever team he's with. Not saying that I'm gonna root for that team, but I just have that much respect for the man. So I would definitely.
If they were playing against Dallas, who would I root for? I would say whoever has the most to gain. It would just kind of depend. Is he playing against Dallas, and Dallas is already, we're week 13 and we're 5-7 and no help for a playoff, but Dak's team is trying to, get some wins to get in there and get that wild card spot. Yeah, I'm going to root for Dak, of course. I would say depend on the records at that point, who has the most to gain, who has the most to lose. Maybe I'm going to root for both offenses and nobody's defense. You never know.
Yeah, exactly. Danny says, anyway, I think Danny is another Dak hater. There's a lot of Dak haters and a lot of Dallas Cowboy haters. He said Dak overthrows wide receivers and stays in the pocket too long and holds on to the ball too long. Zeke Elliott, and he fumbles the ball. Listen, this guy is just trashing the Dallas Cowboys right now. Obviously not a Dallas Cowboy fan, so I'm not even going to.
I don't think Dak stays in the pocket, and if he did stay in the pocket,
he wouldn't have got injured.
Got his broken ankle right now.
Exactly. Philly Notion. Dak is a great player, just
undervalued
in Dallas. If Jerry doesn't sign him, someone will break the bank. Tough situation, 100%. I heard Washington is looking at Dak. I heard the Colts are looking at Dak. I believe that Philly would look at Dak if they didn't have who they have.
Philly's in a tough spot. I said Philly would look at Dak if they had any money, but they're in a tough spot. So that may not be an option for them. I think if they're going to upgrade quarterbacks, they're going to have to do it via the draft, and they're what picks? You're number 6, right, Notion? I think.
Exactly.
So Yeah, you could get yourself a high-ranked quarterback. Whether or not that pans out, I don't know. Like I said before about Cleveland, just because you get a first-round quarterback doesn't mean he's gonna be all right in the NFL. Zachary,
What's up, Zach?
What's up? What's up, guys? How y'all doing today?
Bro, thanks for being
great.
back, man. Really, really appreciate it. Have you been following what we've been saying or what's been going on?
Yeah, I've been following a little bit, man. Y'all know where my heart lies. It's Dak all the way. I mean,
Yeah.
there should be no confusion there. I know people are doing the speculation with all these guys, Russell Wilson and whatnot, but and there is something to it because it's a little scary, right? It's a little scary. Why hasn't this contract got done yet? What is the problem? You've been hearing the rumors about the second ankle injury and whatnot have you, and or the second surgery, sorry. It's concerning. It's concerning that the contract hasn't got done. So at this point in time, I'm just trying to figure out when, right? When are we going to get this contract done? I still think it comes together some way, somehow. I don't see him letting him walk. If nothing else, he'll get the tag. But I'm still hopeful. I'm remaining hopeful that we find a way to get it done.
Yeah, no, 100%. I just want to shout out to Pat 1984. Thanks for tuning into the chat, Pat. Huge supporter. So go ahead. Sorry, moving the chains.
I said in my blog this week that I'm fairly certain, though I can't be 100%, but I'm fairly certain that these negotiations with Todd France, that Steven is no longer at the table. That is Jerry. Jerry is cutting the deal, and that makes me feel better about it. I think Jerry will get it done. Steven and Todd France do not play nice together. Had blood there. So we've got a better shot at getting this thing done with Jerry at the table. And Jerry also, he wants to know, how much can I spend in free agency? What are my needs at the draft? Do I need to try to trade up and get myself a quarterback? What do I need to do here? They've got to have some kind of a decision very, very soon. I would say by March 9th. I think we know.
We have to. It has to be done by March 9th.
I think definitely know by the 9th.
We're
Yep.
We're definitely gonna know. Moving the chains, I want to thank you for tuning in. I'm gonna just jump on a little bit here with Zach. I always appreciate your love and support.
Absolutely.
Guys, please let the fans know where to go see your blogs, because you have crazy blogs that you keep writing about the Dallas Cowboys. You always mention us in your blogs, and we appreciate the love. So I want you to let the fans know where to find you.
You guys can find me on Twitter at Chains Moving, and I'm on Instagram now at Chains Moving DC. And yeah, I link up all my blogs right there, so you can link right into them. I've got it right, but the address is really long, so I'm not going to expect you to write it down. But
you know what? Send me the address, and I will post it in the video description so that people are able to click it and go see your blogs.
Moving the Chains, DOT blog, and then an actual dot, not spelled out, wordpress.com.
For sure. So send me that also in the text, and I will post that in the chat. Thanks again for tuning in. Thanks for coming in and chatting to me. Thanks for the support that you've always given me through what I'm going through, and I appreciate all of you. You have a wonderful day, and happy Valentine's Day.
You too. Bye, Zach.
There you go. Bye. Hey, read that latest blog, man. It's fire. It's lit.
So what's up, Zach, my man?
Whew, trying to celebrate this beautiful holiday with my crazy 2-year-old kid. So you already know how that goes. It's been a rough one.
Been there, done that, man. Listen, let's talk about a little bit more, because you know what's going on. There's rumor mill. Here's one rumor that I read the other day. Do the Dallas Cowboys have to let Aldon Smith walk? Aldon Smith finished the season with 5 sacks, 20 quarterback pressures, playing and starting all 16 of the games. Aldon Smith signed a 1-year, $2 million deal. Do you see a deal getting done with Aldon Smith, or right now is the Dallas Cowboys concentration on Dak and trying to figure out the QB position before we take care of?
I'll say this about Aldon, man. Unbelievable as far as his terms from his comeback, his story. Much salute to him, man. It's amazing. And from everything that he came back from, and he started off pretty hot, and it started kind of dwindling down as the season went on. But to me, I still think he has a lot left. I think he's just kind of got to get into that football shape, right? Into that football mode. So I think there's something there. If the price is right, absolutely, I would bring him back. But a lot of people are skeptical because they say, okay, the productivity was there, and then it just had a major drop off, right? But I still think if we give him a full off season into it, getting ready, getting his game right, getting his head right with a good defensive coordinator now that we have, I think he's definitely an asset to this team. If nothing else, some much needed depth at that position. So I do it, but my main concern is obviously Dak Prescott. You have to get that contract right. And I actually mentioned this because J.J. Watt is a free agent, and there's kind of some mass hysteria going on there with J.J.
I was speaking to Philly about that earlier on the phone. I don't want Watt. He's washed up. He's right. You know what? He'd be a good rotation.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe a rotation, maybe a good bet to help these younger guys out. But
yes.
Would I break the bank or do everything to try and get him? No. And he's not worth. I don't think he's going to be worth what he's asking for. So he's going to want money.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so I've had the pleasure of watching him here because I live in Houston, from Houston. I've had the pleasure of watching him throughout his career here. And yeah, it's an unbelievable talent. But then, those injuries, they have added up over the years, and he's not the same player that he once was. But my thing is with the price tag on J.J. Watt is that price tag may drop a little bit, right? He's wanting to go to a team that's a Super Bowl contender. Now, here's the part where I'm like, okay, because we haven't had that Dak Prescott, situation figured out, why would he want to jump from one team with Deshaun Watson and the issues that they're having with their quarterback into another situation where there's too much drama going around quarterback? And I think that may kind of push away a lot of these free agents who may be interested in coming to this team. They want to see, they want to know the future of this team. If they're thinking about going to contender, that's the most important position on the field. And they would want to I would want to figure it out if I was a free agent considering going to a team. I want to win a championship. And we don't really have the money to be throwing around to these, top-notch free agents, but we got to be careful because there are all these older vets coming out in free agency this year. And you really kind of got to pay attention. You can't get stuck on the name, right? You got to pay attention to the production these last few years and see what fits our team best.
I think what's going to happen a lot, we'll see a lot of moves after the draft.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Once the draft is out the way, then we're going to see who's going to start going after who and picking up who and so on, right?
Yes.
So somebody asked me a question earlier, and I said, "Damn," I said, "That's a good point I'm going to bring up on my stream." Mike McCarthy. Now, a lot of people are like, do you think Jerry Jones might make a move to get rid of Mike? I was like, I don't see that happening, and then obviously I saw a rumor earlier, like the rumors about the Dallas Cowboys is insane right now, that Jerry Jones should go after Tony Romo as a head coach. And I'm like, that's not going to happen. Tony Romo is getting $18 million a year right now to be a broadcaster.
Yeah.
And they gave Mike McCarthy $6 million per year for the next 5 years. So there's no way they're going to get Tony Romo to break that contract to come and get less money. So
and where's the head coaching experience, right? Where's the situation? I'm not taking away anything from Tony Romo. I believe he's a talented guy. He's got a great mind. He's got a great offensive mind, but is he really a viable candidate to begin with? You know what I mean? Like, I don't see anything that tells me, okay.
I will give him that. He's a great, he'll call plays, and I'm just like, he called it before it even happened. And 99.9% of the time, he's right. And I'm like, how the hell? Why didn't he see this when he was playing?
Romo Damas. Yeah, right. I'm on that same page.
He'll call the defense before and I'm just like, okay, Romo, he's a good broadcaster. Do I see him being a head coach eventually? Probably. I think he would be a good asset to being a head coach. Probably once he gets more experience, well, broadcasting and so on, and seeing the game a bit more from a different side. You know. So,
Right.
what do you think? Mike McCarthy will remain the head coach with the Dallas Cowboys? I said yes because I don't know if you know, but when Mike McCarthy started with Green Bay, the first year he tanked.
Right.
And the second year, Super Bowl.
Right. Exactly.
Right? So in my mind, I'm like, maybe he's going to do the same thing with if the Dallas Cowboys sign Dak and we go get the positions that we need to fill in the draft and we make the moves that we need to make, I see us being Super Bowl contenders going into this season. And I'm already saying this season. I'm saying this season because it's starting in 6 months?
Right.
So I'm already looking at that. So
it's about setting him up for success, right? I mean,
yes.
and then that starts with Dak Prescott. I mean, and you would be, if you brought in say we moved on from Dak Prescott, you bring in a veteran quarterback or you draft a quarterback, you're setting yourself back. Because I do believe in this team, and I think they can become contenders with the right coaching and with everything. If it works out, right? The injury bug hit us hard this year, obviously, and everything that happened with Dak and the offensive line. If we can come in this year with a healthy offense and just a middle of the pack defense, it ain't got to be fancy. We ain't even got to be top 10. But if we come in with a 15th rated defense, I think we can be trouble to a lot of teams. It's just really about the health for me and setting him up for success. Now, if all those things go right for him and he still has a bad year, then we may be in a conversation about Mike McCarthy's future.
100%. And I agree with what Moving the Chain says. We have to give McCarthy another shot in his season with the training camp and a healthy roster before we can judge him. And I said it. I said it this, at the beginning of the year and even midway through the year. I said Mike McCarthy had a huge challenge in front of him. New team, new coaching staff, a lot of rookies. Dak getting injured, we went through four QBs. Tell me another team that went through four QBs we did. So the challenges were just non-stop. And he made a few stupid calls, though. I do have to say he went for a few fourth downs that I was like, what the hell? And I don't think we'll see that side of him next year too much because he had a lot of flack for that from probably from Jerry Jones, the upper management, and the media just destroyed him. So I think forget analytics. Just don't go for it. Especially there was one fourth down, he went for it on our 30. Who does that?
Yeah, no, and you know what? It's crazy to me because I had issues with so many calls with him, and I'm sitting here and I'm on the side that was a stupid call. How could you do that? But at the same time, later on in the year, I'm like, what do you got to lose? Go for it, So you kind of
when you're fighting and you need 100%. At the beginning of the year, I don't think you make moves like that.
And it was a big concern.
Yeah, huge concern. So with that being said, draft.
So many things.
So what position should the Cowboys go after in the draft?
You know what? It's really about BPA, man. For me, that's what it's always going to be. Best player available. It depends on what is there. There's so many things that need to happen, and you've got to think about free agency and filling holes before you even get into the draft, right? So it's so hard to predict what's going to happen, but the bang for the buck, just from some of these guys I've been doing some film study, some all 22 tape on, and I'll be posting some more stuff up here pretty soon for you guys on my YouTube channel as well. So make sure you check that out. But the best bang for the buck for me right now is Surtain the second, and I love his game. I'm impressed with his game. The problem is right there with that guy with that spot at 10. One, will he be there? Two, a lot of similarities to his game from the corner that we have now in Diggs. So a lot of people don't like that. They don't like that. What's going to happen if you've got that big, tall corner who's kind of got some twitch problems, quick twitch problems with quicker receivers? What are you going to do when you put him up against Kansas City? Right. So, and that's someone we are going to face this year with Tyreek Hill. So It's a little scary. It's a little scary, but we could go either way. I've been seeing a lot of tight end talk. I know Jay Tuck sold on that. I know I know he will not give up on that. And hey, man, that dude's a talented player too. But for me, you PPA, but if it works for this system, I know we need upgrades on defense, man. We got to.
If our offensive line could be healthy, we're good. We have enough core receivers. We have a good running back. We signed Dak. Our offense is set. That's how I see it. We got Zeke. We got Tony Pollard. We got CeeDee Lamb. We got Amari Cooper. We're set.
Yeah.
We have the weapons. I just want our offensive line to get healthy. That's it. Our defense.
It's bad. It's bad. When is the last time we had a first round defensive pick? Taco Charlton? I mean, and that's the last one besides Leighton Vander Esch. I'm sorry, Leighton Vander, but he's the only one that we have on our team currently. I'm not saying you can't find great defensive playmakers in the second, third, or fourth rounds, and so on and so forth. You can, but I'm just saying there needs to be some investment. We have to invest in this defense. We have to find a way to make it work with our defense. And right now, the only thing, honestly, for me, that would make sense at that 10 spot, other than trading back, depending on how things fall, is Slater, Rashawn Slater out of Northwestern, the lineman.
That's exactly what you just said.
There it is, moving chains. She knows.
I'm telling you, man, moving the chains knows their stuff, man. Yeah. So speaking about defense, I'm not a big D-Law fan. I've never been.
Right.
I think he's overpaid. I don't think yes, he's a good run stopper. I give him that. And defense last year, the adjustments that we made was hard for everybody, and I get it. But do you think that he should take a pay cut?
100% for me. I would restructure that deal all day, every day. And someone actually brought that up to me the other day. And I would definitely make that move. As far as from a production standpoint, I get this argument a lot with people. They try to say that, statistically sacks don't matter. I disagree with that opinion. I do. I solely disagree. But I want that is part of the game. That is part of the game. It's about making plays, right? You have to be a playmaker in this league to stand out, especially if you're going to be making $20 million a year as a defensive end. I want to see the numbers, right? So
you fucking do it, damn it.
Yeah, so I mean, and so the run game has been that's good, and I've seen him. I've seen him do some great things in the run game, and I don't want to take away from his game because it's part of the game. But you got to see those numbers. I want to see some play. I want to see him making plays for this team at that price. You damn right I do. If not, let's talk about restructuring that contract a little bit.
Okay, Jalen Smith.
Oh Lord! Oh, don't get me started on Jalen.
Okay, so everybody was like, "Oh, Jalen Smith." I think he was ranked like second or third. Most tackles, whatever. But how many of those were yards per loss? Right. And how many of those are from him trying to chase somebody down from behind after he already got beat on the play, right? So here's my thing with Jalen, man. Is there's definitely some talent there. I think we all seen that, especially in the 2018 season. He had a damn good season right there with LVE. So I think there is potential. I just think it's going to be the right coaching for me. And I've preached this. I want to see him a little bit more as a off the ball linebacker. I think you put him in blitz packages and I think he could thrive. Now with his contract, again, the production hasn't been there. So if you want to restructure that deal, as a businessman, as Jerry Jones, again, I'm restructuring that deal. And you can point to, well, statistically, I've made tackles consistently. Well, that's just numbers. The numbers can be deceiving, right? Numbers can be deceiving all over the place. You can make it work in your favor. But Jalen, for me, I stood on top of a table for him at the beginning of the season and said, you know what, this guy's got something. I think we should still, continue to work with him and see what happens. And he proved me wrong.
And it was frustrating all season long to see him continue to just bad game after bad game. Missing tackle, missing assignments. Just
Oh man, just
it's been awful.
I hate. I don't know about you. I hate the way he runs.
Oh God, he looked like he mad at the ground when he runs.
Yeah, I'm like, what are you doing? And everybody's like, oh, you know what? Yeah, I'm like, wow, he runs like a tank. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, God, bro, the player shouldn't be getting past you. That's just the way I look at it. But you know what? He is. You have to say he's all over the place. Like I've seen him get a tackle from like across the field, right? So
Right.
he does. He tries to make up for the damage that he's done, but stop trying to make up for the damage you've done. Just don't make those mistakes. That's how I look at it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Listen, I'm not a. I guess me and you on the same page. I'm not a D-Law fan, and I'm not a Jalen Smith fan. To me, those two guys are overpriced, overpaid, and they're not doing what we're paying them to do.
Yes.
And speaking about paying people what they're supposed to be paid to do, let's bring up Zeke. And I see you got his jersey right back there.
Yeah. It's on the wall.
I'm a Zeke fan. Don't get me wrong. I love Zeke. I believe that. How do I say this? I believe he's worth what we're paying him. I do. I do believe that. But I also believe that he had a rough year. I think losing Dak brought his morale down. Like Dak is like like your brother. You played well with that person on the field, and I think once Dak went out, a lot of responsibility came on his shoulders. A lot of people didn't realize this. I think he's a young guy. He basically started taking the team on his shoulders, and it started playing with his head. He had a few bad fumbles, didn't have a strong year, but I did realize something. When Tony Pollard came out and had that 100-yard game, did you see the difference in Zeke the week after?
Oh yeah,
I saw that hunger come back, man. That, and I was like, okay, this is the Zeke that we need to get. This is the Zeke that I want to see going into next season. He needs to lose a bit of weight, and he needs to get a little bit of hunger back. He needs to stop being on Xbox and on whatever he's on, playing his video games. Forget that. Get back to the game. Dak is coming back. Listen, they need to start working as a team again and gelling. So do you think Zeke is worth the money we're paying him? And do you think that we'll see a different Zeke going into the season?
You know what? Zeke has been a confusing character for us for his entire career, right? There's been some characteristic problems, right? A lot like
that's the Cowboys, period.
yeah, you're right. But I mean, at the beginning of his career, all the stuff, the suspension, and then the St. Patrick's Day parade, and just some childish things, right? And it feels like he's one of those guys that he needs that motivation, and I think Dak has really been that guy for him, that motivation to be a better player and guy in general. And you know how close they are as far as their brotherhood goes. I mean, you see it off the camera all the time. Yeah. So the thing with Zeke is this year. I mean, I try not to hold this year against him. I mean, there was so many. He carried all this weight on his shoulders, and he did fail to deliver. But behind what? Behind arguably probably one of the worst offensive lines that we've had in decades. I mean, it was that bad. So how do you come back from that? How do you set? I mean, as far as his yardage goes this year, it's still, regardless of everything that he had to deal with, I mean, it was a struggle, but he still showed up, man. He still showed up, and there was times that we needed him, and he showed up, and I respect that, man. I think this year you get him a healthy offensive line, it's a game changer. I think he's back to his old form.
Yeah, no. When Zach Martin came back, that's when Tony Pollard had that good game, and then Zeke got a good game. In the minute Zach Martin went out again, the running game got shut down. So, a lot of people don't realize your offensive line matters. It matters. Look what happened to Patrick Mahomes.
Exactly.
You could be the best QB, but if you don't have that offensive line, Patrick Mahomes got exposed in the NFL.
Yeah.
In the Super Bowl. In the Super Bowl, he got exposed because he had nobody. Bro, the pressure they kept bringing to him, he wasn't able to handle it. And that'll happen to any. You could be the best QB.
Doesn't matter. Yep.
Doesn't matter. And that's exactly what happened to Zeke's running game, and that's what happened to the Dallas Cowboys because our offensive line got restructured all over the place last season.
Yeah.
Injuries upon injuries, a lot of rookies going in. And that's why I always say, everybody's like, oh, the Dallas Cowboys suck. Yeah, okay. Look at all the challenges. Give all those challenges to another team and see how well they would do. And it would.
Exactly. And Patrick Mahomes, the statistic was, I think he ran for like 500 yards trying to run away from defenders.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because it's such a double standard in this league when it comes to the Cowboys because there's so much hatred on the Cowboys. I mean, Dak Prescott, when he came into the season, he lost his starting right tackle beginning of the season, right? So then you put in, I believe we put in Terrence Steele, right? Is that correct? Yeah. We saw his play. He's been one that, I mean, he got so much hatred and he came in as a rookie. So it's at first I was kind of like, man, like I can't believe we ain't got this figured out yet. We don't have somebody else who can stand in place of this gentleman because it's that bad a play. And then you got your starting left tackle, Tyron Smith goes out. Yep. And what I mean, you saw let's go back to just the Atlanta game a couple years back where we didn't have Tyron Smith in the game. And I forget the gentleman's name, but just had a record sack day on Dak Prescott, just destroyed him, right? So when you start thinking about stuff like that, like that could be any, and this does concern me though, depth evaluation by this coaching staff. We need to improve that, and specifically on the offensive line. And I know this was a year where, it was kind of a anything that could go wrong, did go wrong year, but you have to have good depth in this league, especially during a COVID season like it was this past season. And who knows what the season's going to look like this coming year, 2021. So you have to have better depth and you got to evaluate those players appropriately.
I agree with you. But until you know who at the top of the chain decides to take a step back and say, Stephen Jones, here you go. I'm no longer involved.
Right.
And we know who we're talking about because Jerry likes to be in control. One thing I was happy with this season, I was really happy with, and he stopped doing it. He stopped going down on the field when we're losing.
Yeah.
He didn't go down the field once this year. And I was like, wow, okay, step number one.
So let me ask you a question. Who do you feel like is running this team right now? Do you feel like it's Jerry or Steven? Or Will McClay? Who's making these business decisions, especially when it comes to Dak Prescott's contract?
Listen, I brought it up earlier, and I'm going to say it again. I think Jerry Jones is still running the show. I think he's trying not to as much. But when it comes to Dak's contract, I think Jerry Jones has a big, big stake in there because – and then I brought it up earlier. I said there's a lot of stuff in play right now. And I brought up the race card earlier. I don't know if you heard. But right. I said I think Jerry Jones has an issue with a black QB running his organization. Like, no matter what anybody says, I don't care. That's something that we also need to look at. I'm not saying he's racist because obviously he's not racist. I mean, look at his team. But the QB position is a big deal. That's your franchise. That's the future of your team. That's the leader of your team.
Yeah.
So I think Jerry Jones is just I don't know. He needs to step back. I don't know if Stephen Jones even has the balls to make the right decision when it comes to, excuse me for using the language as I did, to make that decision to sign Dak properly. Rumor is that Dak is asking for $40 million for 4 years. That's a rumor. So that's $160 million. How much is that guaranteed? I would say probably 75% of that. So he probably wants 120 guaranteed out of that. Yeah. That's my opinion. That would be a good. To me, that's if I was Jerry Jones, I'd be like, here's the contract. Let's sign. Let's get it done.
Right.
And another thing I brought up on Star Gang's thing, I said, I think this is being dragged out because of the fact that Jerry Jones likes to be the center of attention. He likes the media attention. So I think the contract is gonna get done. They're just dragging it out just to continue being. The Dallas Cowboys is the most talked about team in the NFL. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, the haters talk about us all the time. The media talks about us all the time. No matter what it is, fans talk about it. Haters. Yeah. Everybody talks about the Dallas Cowboys. So I think that it's gonna get done. It has to by March 9th. It has to get done.
Yeah. I mean, which way do you go if it doesn't? That's always my biggest question. And as a matter of fact, my co-host on my show, he does not like the signing of Dak. He wants to go a different direction, and he made the comment that he would package together. He would do a sign and trade with Dak and package together some first round picks to jump up and get Zach Wilson. Now, that's crazy to me. That's crazy because what are you
smoke a lot?
Yeah. That's what I was like. Are you drinking right now?
Next time you have a show, please invite me so I can. You, please, I want to ask you what is the reasoning behind hate? Like, if a fan would look at me and tell me if Dak didn't throw up the number, do you know that he still led in yards with the games that he had this year over
like half the season
started?
Yeah.
Imagine if he would have played a whole season. Do you know that they said that he would have broke records across the board?
Yeah, absolutely.
So anybody who tells me they're a Dak hater, I want you to come with facts. Show me reasoning behind your hate and why you would not sign Dak. Please, I want one person, not one person who can answer me directly. All they can, Dak sucks. Dak is not worth that money. Okay. Why? And then nobody can answer me the real reason why. Nobody.
Yeah. His argument, and actually how we kind of came together is through an argument. And I brought him on to my podcast one day, and we we hashed it out. And he had me cursing like crazy, man. That was probably the most unprofessional I've ever been on a show. But and the longer I've talked to him, the longer I've gotten to know him, I understand what he's trying to say. What he wants for this team is he likes Dak Prescott as a quarterback, but he doesn't feel that he's elite quarterback for the money that he's wanting, for the money he's asking for. I disagree. With that statement. I think that he's continued to grow each and every year, right? So every year it's just been a steadily. I think the sophomore year was a little bit of a slump. Happens to most quarterbacks. But it's just the progression for me is where it's at with Dak Prescott, and not to mention the leadership that he shows on and off the field. I love that about his game as well. I think when we're talking about Dak Prescott, if you want to put him up there, and I do, I'll frequently put him beside Deshaun Watson. They're very similar. They've had very similar career paths. Okay, and when you think of Deshaun Watson, he got paid $39 million a year. Right. So to say that Dak doesn't deserve 40, I could argue that. I say Dak does deserve $40 million a year. He's been underpaid the entire time he's been in this league. Kickers have made more money. Our current kicker was making more money than Dak Prescott for 4 years. Okay. Yeah. So, and people want to always throw out what about his endorsements? I don't care. I don't care what he does off the field. I'm talking about what he deserves for his play on the field. And that is what you get paid for, your play on the field and what you can provide to a team for their future. So you make it happen. You find a way to make that work, and you back end load that contract because the cap will continue to rise. Listen, and that's how we afford it.
I would say that Dak missed one practice since he's been with the Dallas Cowboys. Always first one in, last one out. The guy built a football field in his backyard, and he practices with some of the teammates during off season.
Yeah.
Like you said, a leader on and off the field. Fans love him. Media loves him. Stephen A loves him.
That's a killer right there.
Right now, but Stephen A. did say, and I think Stephen said that Dallas should go after Watson, and I'm just like, whoa, wait. I didn't watch the video, but I saw a clip. I was like, I'm not even gonna watch that video because I don't want to hear this. I don't.
No.
All I want to hear and all I want to see is a post that says the Dallas Cowboys have signed Dak for the next 5 years for this 40 plus mil, because franchise tagging him at 37.5 doesn't make sense to me.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. You're if you do that tag, you're hurting your team. You're hurting your team more. If you got a long-term deal done, you would be helping your team, not only with giving them their quarterback of your franchise quarterback, but also in creating more cap space by back and loading that contract. If you put him on a tag this year, you're taking away a lot of cap space. You're killing yourself. You're not going to be able to sign hardly anybody. We're going to be back in the same situation we are year in, year out, where we're just, restructuring contracts and trying to bring in, bottom feeders and free agencies to put this team together. Right. So I just don't see how it makes sense in any kind of way not to sign Dak Prescott. And I don't know if Todd France is messing this thing up. I don't know. I just can't see how they wouldn't believe in Dak Prescott. And this is a business.
And Dak's brother too. Shut the hell up.
Are you talking about Tad Prescott?
His brother is annoying as.
Yeah, man.
Let your brother's a grown man. Let your brother handle his business. Why you're on social media trying to blow shit up the way he is? Oh, Dallas should pay Dak, and then he's saying, "Oh, Dak wants to stay with that." Well, which one is it?
Yeah, it just makes it. Yeah, it just makes it worse. It's just creating more to the circus, right? Like we can't. He needs, and this comes with Dak too. He needs to tell him to back off, right? Like, I mean, you can't. You're messing with my future, at this point in time with what you're saying. And I've seen some of the crazy things that fans have said to him, man. And I do feel for him in that way. I've seen he's posted where fans will say, it should have been you that died instead of the other brother. And that's heartbreaking, man. That's not, but that's my thing is that's stupid people, man. There's bad people in every crowd. That don't make that about all Cowboys fans, because that's simply not true. That's not the facts, man. There's people that are just bad people out there, and you got to ignore it. You got to ignore that. Don't let it affect your judgment of the Dallas Cowboys fan base or the Dallas Cowboys in general, right? You have to think smartly when it comes to that.
100%. Man, I appreciate you being on. But before I let you go, I want to ask you just two simple things. Draft pick, who would you like us to go? Who would you like us to get? I know you said best player available, but what do you think the key position that we need to fill right now? Forget the tight end. I'm with you on. No, I'm not sold on that tight end. Jay, I love you, bro. But I'm not sold. I think we need help with secondary. But that's me. So are you with me on that? Secondary is definitely the position we need to fill.
That's where I'm going. That's the most bang for the buck, man. I mean, because all these players are leaving in free agency. We may sign a few, but secondary is the way to go. We have to upgrade as well. We can't just continue to roll out Anthony Brown, right? Or we can't continue to just roll out Cheeto. He's solid, but is he? I don't think he's great. He's had plenty of time to prove it.
I think a lot of these players will improve in the offseason and training camp this year. A lot of these guys are rookies, so I think the training camp and going into the second year is going to help these guys develop a bit more. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen back there. But yeah, definitely I'm with you on the secondary. And you're definitely sign Dak, get it done.
Get it done.
Because I think, like I said earlier, to moving the chains, if we franchise tag him, we lose him next year.
Yeah, he's gone. It's going to be another Kirk Cousins situation. He's gone.
Yeah, if Dak has a blowout season this year, brings us to playoffs, we're not going to have a high draft pick.
Nope.
So what are we going to pray for? A free agency QB?
Yeah. What are you going to do? You're going to bring in Ryan Fitzpatrick? What are you going to do? What's your saving grace?
Yeah. So definitely. Jerry Jones, listen to me and Zach. Do the right thing. Sign Dak.
Sign Dak.
Sign him. That's all we ask.
Get it done, Jerry. Get it done.
Zach, I appreciate you coming on the show, man. Please let the fans know where to find you. And I definitely, the next time you're going live, please invite me, and I will definitely tune in as well.
Absolutely. You can find me on my personal page is at Zach Starboys, or you can find me on the Starboys Show. That's at Starboys Show on Twitter as well. And make sure you check out the Double XO Show on YouTube. We do plenty of live streaming shows, and we have a lot of good stuff coming up in the very near future with some all 22 tape of these college players coming out. So make sure you definitely check that out as well. Definitely. Thanks for having me on, Sid. I appreciate it, brother.
I appreciate it, man. Have a good day, man.
Yes, sir.
Valentine's with your kids.
Yeah.
Man, it's your boy Sid. That'll be the end of this show. Thank you for tuning in to Speak Your Mind all the time. Guys, remember what I said. Appreciate the ones you have. Because like I said, 1 minute to the next, that person could be gone. Please keep your prayers with me. I hope God will fix my situation. Thanks again for tuning in. It's your boy Sid, and I'm out.